everyone, I'm James, and today I'm going to be learning how to use Dokku. Now, you probably haven't heard of Dokku before, but it's a pretty cool open source project. And what it basically is it's an open source headless, so without a UI version of Heroku. And you've probably heard of Heroku, which is just a service where you can upload any app source code, any web app source code, whether it's PHP, JavaScript, Django, one of these things. And it just makes it really easy to host that app. But you don't always want to be running this on Roku servers. It would be great to be able to self-host this. So that's what Dokku does. When I was looking for Dokku, I found a bunch of other cool open source um, projects as well. One is called Coolify, and Coolify is another self-hosting solution. Now, what Coolify is really good at is it does have an interface, and so it has sort of like a web dashboard, sort of like Netlify, for example. And then another one is um, Cap Rover, I believe, which is pretty similar to Coolify as well, a bit older, but Coolify has a lot of recent momentum with it. Haven't really looked into much of the difference, but the reason why I'm really interested in Dokku is that Dokku has the whole interface to deploy apps with Dokku uses Git and command line, whereas these are really more optimized for they're more intended for setting up your own cloud version of Netlify where you can go connect with the web dashboard. At least that's as far as I understand it. And I'm really looking for something that I can fully automate and integrate into my own platform so that on that platform, I can just have one button to deploy an app. It would deploy that to a subdomain of the domain that I set up Dokku on. So it could be like um, every app goes to like, okay, my new app dot platform.app, and that DNS and everything is just set up and good to go. And that's what I'm trying to get set up today. So yeah, let's have a go at that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow these quick start instructions, and I don't want to do this on my laptop. Also want to do it on I want to do this on AWS. So I'm going to create an EC2 container, and I'm going to try running the whole installation on EC2 container, and then I'll try deploying an example project on my new Docker setup. So let's just have a quick look at the documentation. So I believe there's a couple other things that we really need to check out before starting. So for system requirements, you need to have Ubuntu uh, 20 or 22, and that's important because the latest version of Ubuntu is 23. And so I actually tried to get this for 24. So I actually tried to get this running on 24, and it didn't work. So I'm not going to try again. So we can use either Ubuntu 20, 22, or Debian 10. And we need to have 4 gigabytes of memory. That should be no problem. And this looks like the same, pretty much the same instructions as on the home page. So download the script, run the script, configure a server domain. Okay, I'm going to think of one, and then create an SSH key and run Dokku apps. Yeah. So looks like here they have already created an SSH key, but we can create a new one. What is that SSH actually for? I think that's for the Git deployment. So it's for. here, add your SSH key to the Dokku user. Okay. Here, okay, so do we need to, when are we really using that SSH? Yes, I'm going to come back to that. I need to understand a little bit better, but I'm sure that'll be clear when we actually play it. So let's get started. I'm going to go to AWS and EC2. Okay. I'm going to create a new instance. Call this my Dokku server. Now we don't want to use Amazon Linux. Use 2. And this is where I went on before, so we don't use 24. Let's use 22. Okay. Overriding that's fine. I haven't set up any security group. Yeah, I mean, I haven't figured anything yet, so that's fine. The architecture is x86, and if I remember correctly, that should be just fine. Okay. Yep, that's fine. And instance type, we're going to go to like a medium. So we have plenty of resources. And key pair, I will need this to SSH in. Do I have one? Yeah, I'll probably want to create it. I'll create a new one here. Call this Dokku key. Yep, just for security's sake, always creating a new one. Perfect. So now I have that key, so I can SSH into the EC2 container easily. Of course, I want to have like SSH traffic enabled. And do we want to have HTTPS? We want to allow HTTP traffic on this server. So let's think about that. So it's going to be using Git. We're going to be connecting to the server Git possibly. There may be a couple different ways to deploy actually. So let's check that out. So when we get to the deployment, we can take like an example project. We can run this on the host. Have to create. So we can run a few commands on the host, and that creates the app. So that's all through SSH. And what about getting the actual application source code onto the host? This is from the local machine. So we haven't uploaded any source code yet. And so when we upload the source code, it's going to be exactly this. So the reason why I'm checking this now is because we're going to have a port open on the EC2 container that corresponds to Git, so that we can actually push code. And then as far as the app itself, as far as the app hosting itself, that's also going to need to have HTTPS on it. So as far as I know, because it's deploying to subdomains, push domain. There's a lot going on here. So let's just enable HTTPS. Let's enable HTTP, and let's just continue. See when we get there. Cool. So I'll spin that up, and now I should be able to SSH into this from my laptop. So instance, and like a public IP address. Now, when you SSH into this, you need to know the username, of course, that you want to SSH into with. And I'm pretty sure that's Depends on the operating system you chose. It might be Ubuntu. Let's try it. Did not work, so connection refused. Okay, is it running already? Dokku server. Okay, it's running. I had the public IP address there. Ah, okay, it wasn't running the first time I ran that. So, yeah, this shouldn't work because I haven't given it the key yet. So, I just need to, um, remember how to get the key. I think it's -I. I knew that. There. That should work. Yeah. The permissions are not right. So I gotta do, okay, what's the correct permissions? Permissions for SSH key, I don't know, like 644 or something. Should be 644, I think. Or 600. Let's see what it is. Okay. Downloads. Right now it is, I don't know what it is. I guess this would be, so this should be, I don't know. Let's do that. See if that's better. It appears to be the same. Just had. Oh, that works. Cool. So now we have a fresh server. We actually can access this publicly from the internet, and it's running on AWS. So the next step is going to be let's go back to the quick start instructions. So those are really nice and cute. Okay, so we can do this and install Dokku. Okay, we've downloaded just the script. That's the script that's going to install that. Let's run this. Yeah, this would be the latest version, I would hope. And okay, that is downloading Dokku now. So what Dokku is, for anyone who missed it, is a self-hosted platform as a service. Platform as a service being a server, um, in the software sense, that can run many applications at once. Um, hosting multiple applications on one platform, and those applications can be different kinds of applications. It could be PHP, Node.js, Django, and so what Dokku has to do is not simple. It has to containerize every application that's running. It has to it has to actually compile the source in that container, for production, and then it has to assign a subdomain for each application. And that's pretty much the main features of it. Um, but yeah, we just want to get familiar with how to set it up so that later on, when I actually want to use this, it's not like super confusing how it works. So I don't know how long this will take, but let's already have a look at what the next step will be. We need to have a domain, and that domain is going to be assigned to um, Dokku, and the Dokku is going to put a bunch of apps under the domain. Fortunately, I think I do have a domain that I can just use for that today. Let's see, what is a fun domain? This is all my domains. I'm on Namecheap right now. What's a fun domain we can use? Let's say, let's do this one. Okay, so my domain is called. Let's see if it's doing anything. My domain that I'm going to use to play all these apps under is called mapinfinite.com. Awesome, cool. And here it is on the Namecheap uh, dashboard. So it's going to Cloudflare. I can change this to anything. And I think we will have to configure this so that it points to the Dokku server that I just got. How? Not sure. So let's set up a user's SSH key for deployment by passing the public SSH key as shown. Yeah. So Dokku wants us to have an SSH key for each user. And I guess we're specifically here for the admin user. What that key is used for, I think, is for Git deployment, but they don't specifically say that here on the homepage. It's just my ignorance. So yeah, I have an SSH key. You can use any domain you already have access to. Okay, you just create an A record or a CNAME, put in your service. Perfect, what I wanted to know. You can also use the IP server. Okay. But the SSH key, usually your key is already available on the current user's SSH authorized keys. I just don't know what this is for. Let's see what's in there. So, okay. Yeah, there's something there. It's the SSH key that I created in AWS. So, I guess that's really all they want me to do. Dokku needs to have an SSH key to the server that it's running. And I don't know enough about this kind of stuff to really understand why that would be. And okay, I've done it. I've run that command. And now we're going to try and set the global domain. Cool. This feels like we're getting somewhere. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the domain. Okay. And then that's fine. We just skip this one. And then you can use, let's get subdomain support. I just don't really understand what they're recommending. What they're recommending me to do here. We're just gonna we're just gonna keep going. It says I need to configure this domain first, so that I do know how to do. I'm just going to get the public IP address of the server, and this is not supposed to. This is so you can get this in EC2, buried under everything else in EC2. I don't know, maybe networking. So I have a public IP address, and then we go to domain. Let's use name this advanced is here, and we should have. Let's see. So let's make save that. Okay, check. Cool. So they want me to set up an. Let's get rid of all this. Let's add an A record. Cool. That might need some time. So that's probably what we should see. Cool. Hopefully we don't need to mess with them anymore. So the next thing that I'm setting up I really don't want to do, but if it works, you're going to have basically a self-hosted version of Roku that I can access completely with my line, plug my maps, and yeah, I'm trying to get that done today. Hopefully not more than an hour. So does it work? Let's see if it works. So here's this is the shell of the Dokku server. But I want a shell on my local host. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Just some random errors, but now I have to go to the host. Okay, cool. Now I have to for this one. They want to have like a Postgres server and stuff, but the app, of course, could prefer to do easier example. I'll have a database and everything, but that's the example that they gave. So great, and that works. Awesome. Like, you can spin up any app, any database. Just gonna create the database. Okay. It's cool. This works really. This is really straightforward how this works. Cool. So link the database with the app. Cool. Now the button. Okay. I need to go to the local machine. This is the part that I'm most curious about. So I need to actually. Yo, I just cloned that. My computer has an issue with git clone right now. That's um, something that I can fix pretty easily, I think. So let me just clone it using my other Git client. From that, what's the what was the this is the here. Can I clone that using my other client? clone to code using just clone it. Cool. Okay, that works fine. So now here I'm just going to cd to code. Hold that there. Cd. Where's the actual? Second. Ruby. Okay, my completion wasn't working. Always a little disconcerting. So now I have the source code of the Ruby application here, which is a demo, and we're going to try adding. I'm kind of confused about like how authentication is going to work here. Let's just try it. So I've added the modes. This Git doesn't have any. This Git repo doesn't have any authentication or SSH keys assigned to it. Interesting. So I'm going to git push, which is hacking, which actually makes sense because you see this instance here. Is the server that we are pushing to right now. I would go to network. Network interface. Basically, there's just no port open for Git. So that's something that there's just so much going on. So we just need to find that place in the top for networking, and then security, right? So if these security rules, right? We go HTTPS, HTTP, and SSH. So we need to open Git. Otherwise, this is gonna just time out. Well, it's connecting over SSH, so that does that should be fine. So then we might want to add the private key, as authentication. The private key that I created before should allow us to. Okay, what am I doing here? Needs to be artifact, of course. And this document, yeah, is that the right username? Maybe there's only one username. Git remote add. Okay, we've already added that remote to Git. I need to remove it. Git, I think. If I add it again, it won't let me. So I need to git remote remove. Yeah, so I just copied and pasted their instructions. Let's see if this looks better. Is this domain working now? Because otherwise I could just use the IP address. Well, I don't know if this is better than it was before. So we've just directed it to this IP address. Wonder why that wouldn't work. So this is not using HTTPS. So if I do without HTTPS, it will work. Okay. Well, that's something we can deal with for now. That should probably work. Let's try it. Git push Dokku main. Something's working. We do not have access rights. So we didn't have the right server before. Now we have the right server. We probably want to have the keys to the server. So what I'm going to do now is how do you add how do we add those keys? So use SSH key add. Um, well, we want to add actually a private key. That we want to add. Currently add. Yep. I will just forget. Editing a new SSH key and adding it. How do you create a command line to use SSH key? Oh, interesting. So it's not even a Git configuration. It's just under .ssh for everything. So, yep. Okay, so apparently this could just work if I do this. We have here my key. It's gonna check and say, um, I have a Git remote configured stage. I also a file. How do I make sure PM file Git push? Okay. Configure SSH client. Okay. Yeah. Oh, really? Git push. Nope. Nope. Cannot. Every time you get SH group. Oh, it's a little bit messy. So I think I am going to do this. It's not even GitHub.com. It's actually Doc. Yeah. Okay. I mean, this is really straightforward. It's just a little bit messy. I like it. So to open my so it's .sh/config. So here I'm just trying to compare host. It's going to be here. So the host is supposed to be .com. And then host .com. User here Dokku. Right? The identity file should downloads Dokku key.pm. Don't do this to me. Really? Okay, I think I'm getting that's spaced. So let's pause. any trouble. This sort of thing. I hope that's fine. Let's try it. Let's see if that gives get what it needs to SSH. Wow, it worked. That's nice. Oh, this is pretty exciting. So what have we done so far? I created a new EC2 instance. I installed Dokku on that EC2 instance. Then, what did I do after that? I set up a domain name, pointed that domain name to the public IP address of the Dokku EC2 uh, platform instance. You know what I mean? And I and then from my laptop, I checked out an example Ruby application. I ran some commands on the server to set up that application, and then to deploy it, I pushed the app from my laptop to the server. Um, After configuring the SSH key on my local laptop so that SSH knows how to connect to the Dokku server using the Dokku username, which is different than the Ubuntu username, which is how you sign into the EC2 server. Um, that's kind of what I was guessing about at the beginning, is that basically the SSH key that you need to set up is this SSH key, which is really important. It doesn't really say what it's for, but this is so that your Git client on your local machine um, can access Dokku via the Dokku uh, SSH username to push via Git. Yeah, and I'm not entirely sure if this is secure to use with multiple users. Haven't really figured that out yet. This is taking a few minutes. Um, a lot of stuff is getting installed here. It's not the end of the world if this takes a few minutes because this is building a production application and we don't really expect that to instant. But it would be nice if there were things we could do to make this go faster. You obviously don't want it to take 10 minutes every time you want to deploy an app to production. When I deploy something with Vercel, it's like 2.5 minutes, but faster is better. So cool. Okay, we're good. All right. No way. This is the subdomain that we got, and fingers crossed, it didn't work. So what could have gone wrong? I think that it has deployed the container with the app on it, and it is running here on mapinfinite.com. However, I really have no idea how the subdomain part of this works. And like, I just created an A record here, um, for the at, which is the whatever the no subdomain. But I don't know if that's actually sufficient to point all subdomains. So I kind of like read this text again, which I don't really understand. Finally, you can use sslip.io But something we support is your regular domain. This will be done by appending address. So we did this set global. Um, why? So the Dokku knows what domain it's under, right? Is it possible this takes a second? Not really. Let's see. Troubleshooting. Yeah. Can't actually reload for whatever reason. Okay, let's try this. So this is the server that stuff is running on. Configuration file is fine. Let's try restarting the server. Okay. Still nothing. So let's try trying from local host instead of the internet. I think that should make a difference. Hmm. We are very close to getting this to work right. Oh, check this out. Create a record server in your DNS provider. What? Here, DNS configuration. We assume you have passive permission here. For the examples, we use example activity. Sure. Okay. Comparison, this is like way more. We do. We do have this. We have deleted. So register pointing to our managed DNS provider. So we can do it this way. Yeah. Well, actually, I just pointed it to the root domain. I think that's okay though. I think the main thing that I missed is that like I probably have to do something like that. Is that right? I'm honestly not sure. Hey, how's it going? I've been watching for a while. It's kind of a thorny project, but it's pretty good. Pretty going to be pretty rewarding if it works. Yeah. So I don't know if you ever used Heroku before. That's probably the easiest way to explain it. Um, but I'm setting up this thing called Dokku, and Dokku is basically like an open source version of Heroku. So I can set up a platform where you can deploy any application from source code, whether it's Django or PHP or Node.js, and basically you can just host all of your own apps on that platform, and I can let other people host apps on it as well. So basically, I'm setting up a web host for uh, any web programming language, and I wouldn't really say this is the fun part, but it's almost working. So, oh really? Hmm. Wonder why that is. Testing, testing. Hello. Yeah, I don't know, but we are almost done with it. I can check. I can actually check and see how the voice sounds. Let's see. Oh yeah, the audio is terrible. Must be my headphones. But we are too close to getting this to work to give up right now. I am deploying on I'm deploying on AWS right now on EC2, and so far it worked. I think I just have like a little DNS issue. So, whew. I'm just trying to. So like this is the server that I deploy to, and that's pointing to the EC2. Okay, that works fine. But then when I deployed the application, which actually did work fine, as you can see here, um, then it gave me this URL, which did what? Huh? Okay, so it didn't work initially, but is working now, and I think see, I knew we were almost there. And basically, I think it might have been I had to add this second A record to the DNS, which is the asterisk. That would make sense, which just redirects all subdomains also. So, yeah, um, that worked. And what this took me 50 minutes. So I was hoping to do it in under an hour. And yeah, it did work. If the audio is really bad for this stream, then I will just do it again sometime. Sorry for the headphones, but it should take me, now that I've done it, I think next time it should take me about half an hour to do. The next thing that I want to do is to automate this whole process. So now it takes a few steps to deploy an app. I have to go to run these commands on the server. Now I have to run these commands on the server: Dokku create, Dokku install, Dokku Postgres. um, but I like to make it simpler. Oh, cool. Um, yeah, if you want to deploy a Discord bot, I can recommend um, Replit is the best, but it costs like you have to put in a credit card number for that. What we're working on here, and the reason why I'm testing this, is actually going to be another really great way to make a Discord bot, and it's definitely going to be free initially. Although I have to finish, um, I have to finish this figuring out how Dokku works, because what we're going to do is we're going to integrate Dokku with um, with an online host so that you can basically just create a Discord bot and then push it for free. Um, so yeah, if you want to like try it out, then just message me. If you want to try it out this when it's ready, which is probably going to be a couple weeks, honestly. Um, you can just message me on Twitter here, and I'll send you the link to try it out when we're done. But yeah, um, thanks a lot for joining, and I'm gonna stream again soon, where we're actually taking this working setup and we're integrating it um, with like an online platform where you can build and deploy apps. Cool. Yeah. So see you next time.